Did you know that East Anglia has something rather unusual hidden in its countryside? Something you'll rarely see beyond its borders. Round tower churches. Set in picturesque locations, with many holding wonderful secrets, they make fascinating days out, and you never quite know what you might discover. Join me as I explore 3 of these very special buildings in my home county of Suffolk, and stay to the end for a delightful surprise. We're starting our Round Tower Odyssey with a visit to St Mary's at Aldham. The verges were yellow with cowslips, and there was blossom and lambs on the beautiful spring day I visited. This has to be one of the most tranquil spots in Suffolk. Laced with footpaths, this tiny hamlet has an old-world charm about it. It might be close to the main road, but it feels a million miles away from the modern world. And if this church and setting look familiar to you, St Mary's was the round tower Saxon church in the BBC drama series Detectorists. And the countryside here was where Lance made his big discovery. The church has a commanding position on its hill, but don't be tempted to enter from this direction, as both the man-made and natural barrier will definitely keep you out. There are around 180 round tower churches across East Anglia. Most are medieval, dating between the 11th and 14th centuries, and some predate the Norman conquest. There was a lot of restoration at St Mary's in the late 18th century when the tower was rebuilt. So why were round towers chosen over square ones? Well, it's been suggested that they were easier to build with the materials that were available locally. And in East Anglia, that means flint, which is often small and very knobbly, so not the easiest to make good corners. Another more superstitious reason is that a round tower would provide no hiding place for the devil. The bench ends here are wonderful. They're mostly from the 1920s, but there are some earlier ones too, and it's fun spotting the different faces, which must provide many moments of amusement for worshippers. But we're saying goodbye to Aldham now and heading out to one of my favourite little corners of Suffolk to see a very special church. If Aldham felt rural, it has nothing on Ramsholt. The isolated church of All Saints stands high above the River Deben in a landscape of farmland, fir trees and gorse. As early as the 13th century, a sea chart showed that a tower was here, but this collapsed and the tower we see today was erected complete with buttresses for extra support and is thought to be post-Norman in date. In the early 18th century, the church had deteriorated. and the tower was used as a lookout by smugglers to see if the coast was clear. And a recent appraisal by English Heritage believed the tower could have been a defensive structure to thwart the Danes. The flint walls include septaria, a local sandstone found by the river. The church actually looks square from a distance because of the shape the three buttresses make. Today, the churchyard provides a lovely haven for wildlife, and I enjoyed some quiet time taking it all in, admiring the wild scabious, the poppies, and the valerian. I love the way some of the old graves peep out from behind the wildflowers. And do look out for the Waller graves and the marvellous name Jephthah, which seems to have gone out of fashion at some point. Entering the brick and flint porch to the church, you step into the 19th century restored interior with a rustic brick floor and simple box pews. Flowers were adorning the deep windowsills and the medieval font. And a collection of ladybird books reminded me of my childhood and a time long before phones were used to look everything up. There is a sunken footpath which leads from the church down to the river, and it's a delightful walk with gorgeous views. We were here in late summer and came across the most fantastic fruit tree and couldn't resist a quick forage. We then walked towards the River Deben and truly could have stayed here for hours more on this perfect summer's day. We're travelling to central Suffolk now to another St Mary's, this one at Wortham. The sun was playing peekaboo with us and there was a little rain in the air. The round tower here is fat and fabulous, and at 10 metres across, it's the largest round tower in England. Alas, the roof collapsed in the 18th century, and you can't enter it today, but you can peep inside and gaze up at the bellcot. The spring churchyard is surrounded by fields, and early nettles were pushing through. And the white white blossom of distant cherry trees clouded the woods. It's a wide church full of beautiful things to capture the imagination. Like this stained glass window with a very colourful dragon. And some really beautiful stone carving behind the altar. But it's the bench ends that really stole my heart, and there are some very inventive ones. I've never seen a walrus before. And I love this handsome bear. And this wonderful lion. And the first Viking ship I've ever seen as a bench end. My little bonus for you is the second All Saints, this one at Beyton, which we passed after visiting Wortham, and I couldn't resist a quick peep. Like Ramsholt, its buttressing gives its round tower a square appearance. Its interior holds just enough gems to make a visit worthwhile, including pretty tiles, a wonderful Last Supper, and this delightful unicorn bench end, its horns safely carved against its back to keep parishioners and itself safe. And that's what I love most about visiting churches. You never quite know what you'll discover. Thank you for joining me on this tour of some of Suffolk's round tower churches. I hope you've enjoyed discovering these charming buildings and the secrets they hold.